Welcome back, everybody, to the Cairns Taipans Supercoach Cross Blitz preview. How are you, Baz?
Yeah, going well and being good.
Well, being good. That's grouse to hear. So, as said, we're going to be looking into the Cairns Taipans and who we think could be potential starters for our Supercoach teams, people to keep an eye on through the Blitz. So, we know that they've got the time away heading over to the United States for some of the NBA preseason games. So, probably looking a little bit past who we're going to start with, but who we could potentially bring in when they come back into Australia.
Yeah, I think it's a tricky one because of that schedule. I think makes Cairns players not too inviting, especially with. And you and I went back and forth on this a little bit. Sent a few messages earlier in the week and said, do players go up after 3 games, or do they go up after 3 rounds? Because essentially, Cairns play their 3rd game in round 2, but won't essentially have their 3rd score until the end of round 5.
Yeah.
So that gives us a pretty good chance to have virtually a month and a half to look at the Cairns players and see what we like. If you're obviously bringing in or starting with a Cairns player, you're obviously pretty confident in them, or you're really looking to kind of ship them out round 2. But yeah, there wouldn't be any reason I'll be starting with a Cairns player, especially you miss rounds 3 or 4. Go and get your value for them when they hit round 7 and they play 6 weeks in a row of 2 games. That's when you get them in. So as you said earlier, these aren't guys we're starting with, but these are guys we're looking to bring in. So obviously this will change as time goes on and we see a bit more of them and see how they rotate and see how many times they turn the ball over because they're trying to get up the court in about 6 seconds with all those guards and
they'll be
not many bigs
fast
to
and
run up the
exciting,
court.
won't they?
Oh, they will be. So there could be some high points coming down to Cairns.
Yeah.
There could also be some high turnovers coming down to Cairns, but I'm excited to watch it. I reckon they're going to be great.
Yeah, same. So
that's my.
Yeah. So who are you thinking?
Mate.
Who are you thinking about
Well,
looking at?
I think because he's cheap and he's a Tassie boy, and you and I have probably. I reckon the amount of times this guy's name's come up in a fantasy group chat for has anyone seen his stats he's putting up in high school? Or it's always exciting when a Tassie guy is touted to get drafted. So we always keep an eye on him and check out the highlights when they come up on YouTube. No, it doesn't. Really doesn't. But yeah, Taron Armstrong, he's mine. 69K, cheap as. This is a starting point guard. He's good size. We know he's going to score. We know he's going to get assists. But if you can pitch in the rebounds as well, I think you'd be looking at a pretty handy player for 69K.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think I'll be starting with him, but I think I'll definitely look to bring him in when they get back from the States as a nice little downgrade from somebody else, whether that's Flowers or what. I'm not really sure on that yet, but we'll wait and see what the next couple of weeks of preseason Blitz games brings.
Yeah, anyway, and his averages don't really jump out off the page either. Like an average 11, 5, 5, 3 turnovers, a steal, and not really a block a game. Doesn't really jump off the page, but I think that system could be a little bit different. And I think they're going to play fast. So I think it's going to give him an opportunity to really, really showcase what he can do. And obviously he wants to get drafted, so he's going to put his best foot forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So we think he's sort of, from those numbers, he's looking at an average of around 20.
Yeah, which still boosts his price.
Absolutely. When you consider that imports break evens at 24, he should go up pretty quickly. So maybe you do start with him and get him after those first, trade him out after those first 3 games. Interesting.
Yeah. Interesting.
One to think about for sure. Anyone that you don't like?
Not really either. I don't really like McCall. I don't think his game is going to translate well to the fantasy side of things. He can certainly, he's certainly a leader. He's certainly someone that has a fair bit to do within that Cairns organisation. They have called him the GM at times. So I think that, he's probably someone that I'm probably avoiding. I don't think that he's probably going to change much from last year. I think you're probably going to get similar output. So if you're looking for probably someone what you're going to get, then by all means take him. But if you're looking for someone that you can get a bit of risk and reward for, I don't think he's probably your guy.
Yeah, agreed. And he's on the sideline at the moment with an injury as well. So definitely one to stay away from early.
Well, that's never good. But it's always worse in football. It's probably not too bad in basketball because you can probably take a few games to get back and find your feet. But if he plays limited minutes early, then you're going to see that price drop. And if he's limited minutes early and he's only playing 3 games in those first few rounds, and then obviously maybe in those round 8s he might be fully healthy and you might see him be the leader and put up a lot of numbers, but obviously he's a time will tell sort of player.
Yeah, so with him injured and Bull Quoll injured as well, they're going to have a few cheap guys that perhaps we could look at when they get back. We'll see how those injuries are coming along, I guess.
But there is a guy you like there.
There's a couple of guys that I like. Both of the power forward guys, Sam Wardenberg. I really liked his game last year, and I think he's only going to improve more. So I'll be keeping a close eye on him. I don't think he'll be as good as DJ Hogue was last year, but I think he will take on a little bit more of that sort of a role. He's better than what a lot of people think with the ball in his hands. So I think, especially with those injuries to those other guys, the ball will be going through Sam Wardenberg a lot. And the other one's Bobby Klinkman, the next star. So he's a projected lottery pick as well. So handles the ball pretty well. He's got a pretty good all-around game. So he's one that could potentially be worthwhile bringing in as well.
Yeah, your Wardenberg's an interesting one because I think that I had him until the schedule. I had him in there until I kind of done a bit more analysis on the schedule. And the reason I had him in there was because one is that he's obviously starting. He can shoot the 3. You mentioned it. He can handle the ball as well. So he brings a fair bit of skill set. And he's also priced at $228. So that means that rather than taking an import at that starting, just say you chose him as your starting centre, by not choosing an import as your starting centre, you save $50K, which then means you can look to get in your Mitch Creeks. And if you went Bryce Cotton, Wardenberg to save $50K can be someone you can definitely look at. So I had him in there, took him out, had him in there, took him out again. He's not in there currently, but he's definitely someone I'll look to get.
Yeah, for sure. So we're both in agreement of no Taipans to start.
Yeah,
and look to bring them in when their schedule heats up a little bit.
Yeah, Ben, I think by doing that as well, we're going to have a really good idea about the minutes, the rotations, who's doing what, and we're going to probably have less risk on those picks. But hopefully people take away that they don't really start playing their games until round 5 and then really kick into gear in round 8.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to have a bad time.
Yeah, 100%. Rightio. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next episode for the Illawarra Hawkers.
Well, hey, can't wait.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.